For me, for this next year, now that Xander and I are nomadic, we are actually going to be going on the road a lot, and then we'll come back here. It's pretty rare that we're going to do events here in my parents' house because, you know, it's their house, but I will be doing events at other local wellness centers, and I'm always happy to have any location, any place that you want me to present it brought to my attention. I will certainly be doing plenty of work with Gina over at Intuitive Wellness and Sally Knuckles, and who knows what else. But we're also going to be doing a lot of road trips. We're going to be spending a lot of time going up to New England and down to Florida, sort of doing that nice figure 8 loop. I've been putting the word out. People who want me to visit them, we can come visit, find wellness and meditation centers in their area to do presentations at. And this next week I'll be rewriting. Diane very kindly helped me edit and figure out how to present my offerings, and so all of that will be on the website by the end of this coming week. And what are we doing? I think September will be in Virginia, and October will be in New England. November will be in Florida. And I think on the way down to Florida, we're going along the coast, and then on the way back up, we're going to come through like Georgia and that neck of the woods, or like sort of do a loop. And then December will be here. January, it looks like going to Iceland and Norway. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's so far the irons that are in the fire. We'll see what comes out. And then mid-February, we're going to go to Mexico, San Miguel, Mexico, and then to Michoacan, the mountain where the monarch butterflies and their migration to. So that won't be for work. That part will be for us, but San Miguel, everywhere we go, I'll be working. And then we're not sure about March, but mid-April we'll head back to Florida. And then there's a bunch of us who are going to resort the last week of April, first week of May. And it's open for anyone else who's still looking. It's not a closed group. But we're going to a meditation retreat in Bimini in the Bahamas, where the people who run it, it's called Wild Quest. They are dolphin communicators. And every day you go out in the boat, out into the ocean, and they find pods of dolphins, and you go and you swim with the dolphins. You're told not to touch the dolphins. There's certain protocol, but that's a squirrel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, he's chiding someone. He's like, someone's in his turf, and he's like, you need to back off. And then we'll come back here, and then we'll go back up to New England. And that time that will be May. So we'll hit New England, we'll go up to Maine and up to Canada, and we'll do a little Canada tour. And then we're not sure. You know, depending on once people realize we're on the road, maybe we'll be more on the road. Or
need a little tiny house.
You know. So that's why this year we're going to stay here, because it's silly to have a home. But then my son will be in college next year, so I'll just get some apartment somewhere. Yeah. But not, you know, he'll be on campus.
I'll be right next door.
But I'll be doing a lot more work in Central and Southern Virginia next year. So it'll be convenient for me to have a place there, but still continue the nomadic stuff and coming up to here often. Yeah. So if anyone has any place you would like me to come and present at, I'm very happy to. We have the channeled work. We have the past life regression and Akashic record work. We're also making a series of video classes for the Akashic record work. and past life regression work. So you can go online and take these courses, and we're going to do formal classes on my website. And we're going to work on skill development as well, you know, like pendulum, stuff like that. But now that I don't have the weight of the world on my shoulders anymore, I'm going to get back into spoon bending and levitation, small object levitation in your hand. Diana and I were looking at some fun videos, and people are really good at this. And yeah.
I
And
was reading that somewhere, it was very big here before people learned about gravity.
yes,
Levitation was a big thing before people learned about gravity.
this is true.
The mind.
And this is all about, you know, our reality is as we conceive it to be. If we say things are heavy, they're heavy. But yeah, when we learned all about time bending, Lisa, you were in time. No, but Diane, you were.
I couldn't get it to work for me, but that's beside
Time bending is crazy because if you do it too much, your grasp of time as a linear concept really dissipates. So like one morning I was taking my son to school. I drove him to school every morning. So we left our home and we go like 2 blocks and it comes to like T junction. And then, you know, we turn right and then head on. So as we're going towards this T junction, I saw the blue lights of a police car, like just on the left side as we were driving of the T junction. So like the cop had pulled someone over just before the road that we were on. I could see in the distance. I'm like, oh, someone pulled someone over. You know, wonder what that's. You know, they have a lot of speed traps a little further down the road. And then we got to that T junction. There's no cops there. There's nothing. I'm like, that's weird. I could have sworn I saw that. It was like, that's not something you mistake. And so I went and dropped my son off at school, it's really like 4 blocks, 5 blocks away. It's not that far, but we really enjoyed our little morning time. And I came back and there's a cop had just pulled someone over in that exact spot with their blue lights. And I was like, I guess I saw that too early. When you do time bending, it really gets loopy. It really does. Like, you know, you have an appointment in a half hour and you know that it's rush hour traffic, and even in the best of traffic it's going to be 40 minutes, and you know now it's going to be at least an hour or more, and you're like, you do time bending and you get there in 25 minutes. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so cool.
I think I did something like that once. I went to Winchester with Phoebe City Base and my grandson. And I made it all the way to Route 5 on Waldorf. I know it was just over an hour. And it's at least 2 hours.
You see? You see?
And it's like, I can't go home. Because we want me home every week, you know, in that 1 hour time. So I had
Right.
to do something for them.
You were punished by your non-linear state of being. Yeah. And this does happen. It's like sometimes on those automatic long trips when you're not even thinking about the time, that's when you sort of jump time.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now I know what happened.
Yes, yes. I mean, yeah.
With all this stuff that's going on and that time is speeding up, that's also kind of folding and compressing, that more of this is going to be happening.
I'm really not sure. I know that it's getting a little more loopy.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, when we're not in this linear environment, like when we're connected with our higher selves, time to them is just like something you organize. You know, that's why it is that like my son had asked me to be his mother. We have a soul contract that I'm to be his mother. But when you look at, like, I made a soul contract with my parents to be my parents, and my mother had a soul contract with her parents. And my grandparents had a soul contract with my son. However, you know, in this life, my grandparents were no longer physically alive before my son was born. And you're like, but that's a pretty long lasting soul contract. What? And you're like, it's because they don't work in time. You know, with them, things are, that's why they say everything happens at once. It's not like a boom instantaneous. It's more of a, okay, while you're doing, it's more of like a multitasking sort of thing in a way. I don't know how else to express that. So that's what's going on with us. And I'm finally going to be finishing my book. Done taking notes and working on the outline. I'll be working on my Akashic Records book. So then, you know, you guys don't have to wait till I'm around. You can read the book, you can look at the videos, take the little classes, and then when we get together, you're like, now I understand what you're talking about. So tonight for the channeling, Gaia is going to come through. And I'll tell you, it still freaks me out when I talk about Gaia, the divine mother of all creation, is going to be using my body to speak. You know, I still feel incredibly honored and a little bit wiggy. It's like, well, the other day I was talking to Jesus and Mary was there. Joseph was off somewhere else. So these things becoming commonplace. I just want to be very clear. This is for anyone who wants. Anyone who wants to open themselves up to this connection can do so. It's not just me. That each and every one of us has a skill and ability within us. It's just a matter of developing, you know, and it didn't happen for me all at one night. It took years of things. And then, you know, once you start doing things, you're like, oh, I've always done this. I didn't know I was doing that. And then they're like, oh, you have this like, wow, I could have had a V8 moment, you know, right and left. So tonight, Gaia is going to come through. She's going to be supported by the dancers of the Divine Light. And the Galactic Collective is like hanging out there ready to watch. They're going to be mentoring the librarians and guardians of the Akashic Records, because those guys tried to channel through me at the Love Light Festival, which is a very distracting environment to try to channel. And you know, there were gongs going, and they kept getting distracted. Ooh, what's that gong? Like vibrations are a big deal when they channel. They're like, ooh, what's that vibration? They were in the middle of like thousands of good vibrations, and they thought that would be a good time to do this. They did great. However, as simple as they thought they were making everything, they were speaking way over everyone's head. And so they were like, they would give us statements like, do you understand? People go, no. Can you explain? Like, we just did. I'm like, oh. So they're kind of hanging out in the background tonight to sort of see how Gaia does it. So there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of presence, which means in this place of many vortexes and energetic openings, there's going to be the potential for a lot of individual connection. So everyone feel welcome to like just be relaxed, and if random thoughts pop in your mind, or if you feel like people are saying things to you, or suddenly like memories pop up as words are coming through, this is all for your healing and your understanding and your connection. So just be open and enjoy it. You may hear in your mind's ear, this is for you too, or, you know, so, you know, little things. So just be ready for that. Okay, so Gaia wants me to run a little refresher for a moment about some information she's shared in the past, which is, so some of you have heard this before. So I'm going to try not to like spend too much time on it, but if anyone needs more detail, welcome to ask. So it was in the beginning of existence, there was like nothing. And then there was the divine feminine and the divine masculine created, but their backs were to each other. So they were one with nothing. It was very peaceful. It was just lovely. And then they turned and they saw each other. And when their eyes locked, they fell so deeply, truly, powerfully in love that all of everything was created in that moment. That was the moment, the Big Bang Theory. That was the moment when everything happened. The universes, the lights, the beings, but everything was created from this singular moment, this act of love. So everything was love, and everything resonated on this vibration, the frequency of love, and only love. But it is nature that dictates we must always be in evolution, in growth. We must always try to expand upon what we are. That's not just a human trait. So, and this was encouraged. This was encouraged by the divine masculine and divine feminine, that all their children would experiment and grow and expand, which meant some took their vibration from where it was to higher, some took it wider, some dropped it down. And that's where, in many ways, like the beginning of demons were created and the darker beings. But it was determined that for all of us to grow, we really must all experience everything. If you only ever exist in a frequency of divine love, you're going to miss out on a lot. And we must challenge each other. How can you become your best if you're not then coordinating with someone whose best is your worst, or who brings out your worst? Like that, all of this is challenges, and it's not just human challenges, it's challenges for all beings in all existence. The angels love to work with humans because we're helping them grow just as they're helping us grow. That as they work with us, and that's why these angels become our guardian angels. Every person alive has a guardian angel who's here to help you. The more you work with your guardian angel, not only the easier your life, so please do it, but the more you're helping this angel expand their vibration in a way that helps all angel kind, because they, even though they're all individuals, they still work also as a collective, so they're able to learn energetically from each other. So it's very selfish to not make use of your guardian angel to make your life better. People think, oh no, it'd be selfish of me to do this, I'd be cheating. Like, no, you're not. I mean, think of this poor angel, like, wee, I'm gonna go help this person, and this person just ignores me now for 97 years. You know, make use of your angels so they can go help all angel kind grow and evolve. And so they're not bored for 97 years, while they're attached to you. And it also helps them, the more you use your angel, the more your energy becomes lighter and the more your vibration goes up. That's a good thing. So we don't need to, as we create our own reality, if you say, no, I have to work hard for what I get, then anything you want, you'll have to work hard for it. If you say, oh, I ask my angel and it happens, then you ask your angel and it happens. It's a much more fun reality. Go for it. I've had a few, ever since Michael Shea was here a few months ago. He was like the big closing special presenter at my wellness center. you know, he does, he apparates objects. So he'll open an energy vortex like in his mouth, and all these crystals and gems will fall out of his mouth. It's amazing. He will turn spiritual energy into physical energy. And you'll literally, like, it will literally become hands and give you a neck massage and send energy into your third eye and like give you a kiss with lips that are definitely not his lips. You know, he's just amazing. So after he left town, I was thinking, I would love to learn how to do some of this. Like, not as he does it, because that was overwhelming, but I would like to learn how to do some of this. So I put it to my angel. I'm like, let's figure this out. Let's do this. You know, let's see how much fun we can have with this. And then I walked into my son's room, and there on a bookshelf were several items that have been missing for years. I was like, and they were just stacked on each other on this bookshelf that I know these bookshelves, these items that I've been looking for. Like, we had 2 portable phones, one of which had been missing for over 3 years. Over, maybe like 5 years. Who knows where it was, but I've been looking for it all this time. And there it was on its bookshelf, with sitting on top of a book that I've been looking for, that I knew was in our apartment, couldn't find. Like, it was just like all these objects stacked on top of each other. I'm like, wow, thank you. And then I had this last weekend when we went to Love Light, I went to take my favorite frying pan. It's not a fancy frying pan, but I've had it for like a billion years. It's like a Revereware Tefal, one of those kinds of, but the screw for the handle to the pan had come loose. And several months ago, I went to I got my power drill. I'm ready to take it out and put another one, because whenever you hold it, the pan starts going wah, 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 wah. And I'm with the handle, it's like, it's really not safe. And this is like, I don't know, I paid $20 for this pan like 30 years ago, but I love this pan. And I went to replace the screw, and it's like so old and rusted that there's no replacing it. So I'm like, oh, well, I have 2 choices. I can throw away this pan that for whatever reason I love, or I can have like a wobbly, totally unsafe pan. So I chose the wobbly, unsafe pan. And so I went to grab this pan, going, well, maybe it can become our camping pan. Because when you're in the middle of nowhere with no first aid around, it's good to have a wobbly, unsafe pan over an open fire in the middle of nowhere. So I went to get the pan, and it didn't wobble. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? And I pulled up, and there's a new screw in there. And I was like, how? I'm like, Xander, did you fix the pan? And he's like, what? What pan? What? I'm like, that's right. He doesn't even cook. So I look at him like, well, thank you. So I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm not, apparating like crystals out of my mouth, but something is happening because I opened myself to the reality. I saw someone else do it. So I said, if someone can do this, then this can exist. This is what I'm saying. Any of us can do anything, but we do it in a way that works. I was talking at Love Light. I ran into a dear friend that I hadn't seen for a long time. And she was telling me about how, I asked her about her job, because she had a job that had so much potential, but the potential was always being denied to her, and she was always getting frustrated. And so she always had to leave her job to find her fulfillment. And everything had lined up, and she had been offered a great, everything was great at her job. It was all perfect. Everything she could ever hope for, it was now her ultimate job. And her life was amazing. And I said, you did this. And she's like, all these coincidences came into place. I'm like, because you did this. You created the manifestation. You put the wish out there. You focused your energy this way. And then all that you desire was attracted to it, like moths to a light or like magnets to metal. And that's how it happened. It didn't happen like, oh, I wish my dream job would happen in my life right now. Oh, it didn't. Oh, well, manifestation doesn't occur. It doesn't work like that. It works, that's what they mean with law of attraction and creating your own reality, which means as we're working with the angels that were created through the first act of divine love in existence, these angels have the ability to channel all of that to us and fill us with the divine love of the first moment love ever existed, to fill our beings and create our sense of reality as it is in our daily lives. Yes. So this is what working with your guardian angel is. And this is a bit of what Gaia is working with humanity on right now. The way she said it to me is, you know, when your children have their friends come over and they run around, they're wild and they mess up the house, and these two have a little bit of a fight over here and this one's crying over there, and then 5 minutes later they made up and it's all crazy and you don't know what's going on, and then they all go home and you're left with this big mess, and then you clean it up and you go, that was a good day. She said, right now, our planet, it's at, as far as she's concerned, it's that sort of children's party that's gotten a little out of control, and it's time to start calling the parents. Oh, we're going to end the party a little early, or, you know, your child got a black eye. She said, the more we see it like that and not the destruction of all that is good, the more we can redefine the reality to reclaiming our home as the party is wrapping up. And then say, next time there'll be a play date outdoors, darling. You know, so that's how she wants us to, she's like, don't give all of our power and energy to the dark. Realize that if beings have gone to the dark, it's because they're not yet mature enough and responsible enough to rise to the light. And if we give them the power, they're going to take it. But why would we give crazy, wild, out of control children the power? You know, they'll just have more tantrums and become very spoiled. So she said, it's time for us to reclaim it by claiming ourselves. If each of us are tapped into our light, connected with our angel, have love and light flowing through us, and Lisa knows what I'm talking because she does this very naturally. You know, you're my inspiration. But if each of us is doing this and we're manifesting with our angels and get the entire angelic collective energy flowing through us and our decision on how we wish to redefine reality, then time has no meaning to us. Space is as we wish it. We can create, you know, we can levitate things. We can telepathically put, you know, send our love and thoughts out there for anyone who wishes to grab on and put in their minds. We can send love out there and surround everyone with love. And this is not through distress or effort. This is just opening ourselves up so the energy flows through us and to all. And, you know, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to send all of my love energy to some dark being on the planet in hopes of changing them, you may find that that's a more sophisticated effort. Like you may have to energetically join with the Tibetan monks to like really get in there. However, if you spread a lot of love and light into your local environment and you create that energy of flow, then you hit enough people who are filling with light. It lets the energy flow more and more and more and more until these very dark beings find themselves surrounded by beings of light everywhere they go because it's spreading out. So both ways are great. Like Lisa, I believe you sort of send a lot of love directly to the dark ones, but your energy is so powerful and so direct, and I think you are good at connecting with very high streams of energy for that. So whichever, but for me, I just get frustrated because, I was a chef for 35 years. I have a little bit of a hot temper, and I was a warrior for like 10,000 years. So, so after a while, I just get cranky at them. I'm like, well, that's not good. So for me, the other way works better because it's easier for me to start sending an ocean of love out and getting other energies. So it's, whatever, there may be other ways as well that work for you. But as long as the love is flowing, it's good. So I know I have on video about how the earth was created, and I believe we talked about that the last time we were here. Earth is a very important planet. It's a planet of connection, and we are going closer and closer to the state when humanity will be a collective, as the angels are, and we'll each be unique and individual, but we'll also be connected, and this is already started. So in our lifetimes, we will get to see this happening. So the love energy we want to send out will also help with the collective being created. And when humanity comes together as a collective, it comes together in love. Like the Women's March was a great example of that. And how so many people afterwards wanted more of that, partly because of the message, but mostly because of the connection that everyone had. And that's the direction that humanity is going to. That's why these darker beings are having their last tantrum, because, it's hard for them to connect with love, so they want to drag everyone down. No, I'm going to kick over your Lego palace. But, luckily, gravity doesn't exist and time doesn't exist, so we can rebuild it in an instant from love. Okay, so she wants me to share with you the other night. I think I've shared this with Diane before. I was with my mediumship group, and so we're all like connecting in and seeing what messages come through. So Jesus showed up, and he said, "I have a message for you to share with everyone." I was like, "Okay, this will be fun." And he said, when he was put on the cross, when he was sacrificed on the cross, he said the crucifixion was not the big thing. Like everyone's like, "Ooh, Jesus was crucified." He's like, they crucified everyone in those days. The crucifixion was actually meant to demean him. It meant like, oh, look, here's this guy with all the cutthroats and the cut purses and the pickpockets and the ne'er-do-wells and the whatever. Like, he's so lame, he doesn't even merit a good death. We just toss him over there with, the dregs of humanity. That's what the crucifixion was about. And he said, and it wasn't just men, women were also up there. And he said, please, everyone, stop being so mean to Judas. That Jesus, his light of purity and goodness was so bright that even though he was walking among the Roman soldiers while they were looking for him, they didn't see him. They couldn't see him. And he's like, "Hi, I'm right here. You can come take me away now. I know what's coming." And they're like walking right past him. So he needed Judas to help him get to the Romans. And this was a huge act of love on the part of Judas, because he was helping his best friend go to a rough situation that they both knew had to happen. But, that was, and poor Judas, he's really gotten the rough end of this after that. But Jesus asked Judas to help him with it, because next to Judas's light was the highest, and he was the only one that he knew could emotionally handle doing this. So Jesus said the big thing was the crown of thorns, because that was put on his head very tight, very sharp, for the specific purpose of cutting off his ability to connect to his third eye and his crown chakras. Now, keep in mind, Jesus had studied with Hindu and Buddhist monks and priests, you know, when he was in his early stage journeying. So he knew all about this. And he was a regular practitioner of chakra work and energy healing. By cutting off his third eye and his crown, and then putting him crucified with all the dregs of society, it was their goal to make his last moments alive be lowly, alone, demeaned, like, just like, ugh, why bother? You know, he's in so much pain, he's disconnected, and he's, you know, become scum. That was their goal. What they didn't reckon with is, as Jesus said, energy is energy. And if someone gives you energy, it's your choice on what to do with it. He didn't want his third eye or his crown cut off. So he took all of the energy from the pain, from the crown of thorns, as well as being crucified. He took all this energy and he channeled it to become a very divine state of being within himself. So he was beyond pain, beyond discomfort, beyond everything, and just being a being of pure love within himself. And then he connected this energy to all his brothers and sisters who were being crucified around him, and made all of them, like, they, once they tapped into it, they became filled with divine energy. And the entire hill area where they were all crucified became this beacon of light that spread in all directions. He said it's more like a globe of light that spread in all directions. It spread underground, spread to the heavens, and it spread to all the people who were there, and spread and spread. And he said for a moment, they lit up the entire world with the light of love. He said that's what was so important about the crucifixion. Not that Jesus suffered for our sins, but that when humanity came together, the world became one being of love. So I guess that's like when we became a collective again at that time. So that was what was so important. And it wasn't about him. It was about everyone. Yes. Yes. So he said, it's very important. Share this message. Share it with anyone who will hear it without like calling you a blasphemer and yelling at you. It's like, Jesus told my friend Bonita. She told me, so, you know, there you go. But this is something to remember, because we are going through times where there's a tremendous amount of energy happening. And it's our choice how this energy affects us. When you hear about, you know, what our Divine Mother is calling tantrums at a children's party, what we call horror stories, so like bombings and Trump, you know, global violence and Trump. It's I'm not subtle about my politics, so I apologize to anyone who's a fan of him, but you know, he's not doing a great job. So, but we take this energy and light up the world with love, because those having a tantrum can do nothing against a world that is connected and flowing with love. And all of it happened that one time due to Jesus saying, ow, this hurts. I'd rather be a divine being of love. If Jesus can do it, we can do it. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So our Divine Mother wishes to come through tonight and talk with everyone about sort of what's coming up for humanity and how special we all are. And she wants everyone to see what we look like from her perspective. So let's see how it goes. Okay.